after Chennai stabbing horror. Protests rock Tamil Nadu. Angry doctors demand action. Government assures security for doctors.
The person has been arrested. The legal action will be taken.
Doctors' safety SOS. Top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Hello and welcome. Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshata Nandagopal, and this evening we're talking about the incident that happened yesterday in a Chennai government hospital of a doctor being stabbed by the son of his patient. And what triggered it? The son was angry over how his mother was treated by the doctor. We see this happening far too often across the country. Even today, there's been again an attack on a doctor, reported again in the same city, in Chennai. So we're going to reopen the conversation about what's really being done to safeguard medical professionals, to safeguard doctors, because there are many states where there's no law whatsoever that ensures that anyone who resorts to violence against doctors pays the price. We'll be talking about that. Let's begin with the headlines. Big guns boom in battleground Maharashtra. Prime Minister Modi hits out at Rahul Gandhi, says Congress's Shehzada wants to end reservation. Rahul Gandhi claims the Prime Minister hasn't read the Constitution. ED raids 23 locations in Maharashtra and Gujarat in money laundering case. Maharashtra BJP leader Kirit Somaiya claims man at the centre of investigation is Siraj Ahmed, linked to vote jihad funding in Malegaon. Big exam showdown in Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj. UP Public Service Commission bows to students' demands of one-day, one-shift exam. New exam date to be announced soon. Ugly street protests in Rajasthan's Tonk. Clashes erupt after Neta slaps magistrate. Neta arrested, supporters go on a rampage. Karnataka Chief Minister's big Operation Kamla charge on BJP, says 50 Congress MLAs offered 50 crore rupees each to jump ship. BJP hits back, says it's a bit to divert attention. And Tulsi Gabbard appointed Trump's new director of national intelligence, first Hindu congresswoman who will sit atop the US spy agencies.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Months ago, after the shocking, brutal rape and murder of a medical professional in Kolkata's RG Kaur Hospital, our doctors were out on the streets. They're out on the streets again today because once again we've seen a crime against a doctor, very different one, where a doctor was stabbed by a patient's son 7 times inside a Chennai government hospital. That knife attack has triggered protests across Tamil Nadu, with doctors coming out demanding more security in hospitals and once again reopening the debate on why there's no central law to protect them.
A scary knife attack on an on-duty officer inside a Chennai hospital, landing him in ICU battling for life. Now our doctors are out on the streets again, seeking safe hospitals. From Chennai, Vellore to Coimbatore and Salem, doctors are out on streets seeking urgent government help.
Across Tamil Nadu, we are seeing protests breaking out. Doctors and healthcare personnel from across Tamil Nadu are staging protests condemning the attack on Dr. Balaji, and also saying that the government should ensure that strict measures are put in place to ensure the safety of doctors and other healthcare personnel, because this is not the first attack that's been happening, not just in Tamil Nadu, it's happening all over the country. Doctor, tell us, what are some of the demands that you're putting forward at this point in time?
We are putting forward for a secure and safe working environment. We do not want what happened to Professor Balaji, a very senior medical fraternity. We don't want such things to happen to any one of us.
While the accused has been nabbed, the heat is mounting on the Stalin government, especially after yet another attack in another Chennai hospital, the second in 2 days.
We have told all the hospitals that you display the punitive provisions of the Hospital Security Act. That if there is any kind of a violence which is within the premises of the hospital, what would be the punishment which will be made available. So that display is being made now in all the hospitals. Many hospitals have already done it.
The BJP slammed Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin for lawlessness in the state under his watch.
We are strongly condemn the Honorable Chief Minister and Honorable Health Minister. Continuously, our Honorable Leader of Opposition, Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy, keep telling there is no law and order in Tamil Nadu. The life-saving doctor has been affected me. Then what kind of safety for a common man? That's what our question is.
DMK-LI Congress too sought strict action on doctors' demand.
It's very serious issue of doctor being attacked by hooligans, and it needs thorough investigation. Doctors, duty-bound doctors who are doing it as profession, as their noble profession, standing with the people of poor, voiceless people in government hospitals should be protected.
Superstar and TVK chief Vijay hit out at Stalin government, stating that the attack on a doctor shows DMK government's complacency. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has ordered an inquiry and promised medical aid. He also vowed to stop such attacks in future. First, it was RG Kar Hospital in Kolkata, where a young doctor was brutally raped and murdered. Now it's Chennai. Such incidents puts the spotlight on the safety of healthcare workers. Shilpa Nair in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's bring in Shilpa Nair, who's joining us live from Chennai with more details on the protests currently. Shilpa, good evening. Through the day, we've been seeing protests in Chennai, in Coimbatore, Vellore, and several other parts of the state. What really are their demands? Has it been addressed so far by the government?
Well, yes, Akshita. In fact, several doctors' association held symbolic protests today across Tamil Nadu, not just in Chennai, but in all districts of the state. The government doctors and healthcare staff, all of them were protesting against the brutal attack that took place yesterday at the Gindi Kalinganagar Super Specialty Hospital, where senior oncologist Dr. Balaji was attacked with a knife by a man named Vignesh. Now, Vignesh attacked Dr. Balaji, believing that his mother, who was undergoing a cancer treatment for the last 6 months in the hospital, was given wrong treatment by Dr. Balaji, and as a result of that anger, he attacked Dr. Balaji with a knife, and Dr. Balaji is currently in the ICU, but his condition is stable. But protesting against this gruesome attack, doctors all over Tamil Nadu took to the streets, demanding that strict measures be put in place to ensure the safety and protection of doctors and other healthcare personnel. They, of course, point out that this is not the first time that this is happening, and it's not just Tamil Nadu, it's happening all over the country, but it is very, very important to create a safe environment for doctors and others to work is the main concern that they've been putting forward. And apart from that, they've been also asking the government to regulate the number of visitors or number of attendees who come along with the patient to some of these government hospitals, because that can also help them out in some way or the other. And also asking the government to fill up some of these vacancies that are there in the government hospitals. So the government says we are cognizant of their demands, the demands of the Doctors Association, and we're going to fulfill all of that. And the government has assured them that the government stands by the doctors and they'll ensure that measures are taken to improve and enhance safety at hospital premises. The Doctors Association, for now, they've withdrawn all their strike.
So the protest has been withdrawn. The government has given an assurance that they will address all of their concerns. Thanks, Shilpa, for that update. I'd like to bring in on this broadcast Padma Shri Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Chairman of Nephron Clinics. Dr. Bagai, when you saw the images that came in yesterday from that hospital in Chennai, I'm sure it shocked you, but the reality is, unfortunately, Dr. Bagai, we're seeing more and more instances of medical professionals being targeted in this manner by emotional family members.
Good evening. Absolutely horrific scenes. This is an unpardonable, barbaric crime. as violence and assault against doctors. It's an attack of catastrophic proportions. This is condemnable, and the guilty must be caught and punished with the most severe punishment. We must note that almost 40% of, this is a study done in India, of doctors in one hospital last year experienced some sort of violence. 75% of all doctors pan-India at some point of time in their working career have experienced violence. We are the most vulnerable soft target. We don't have any weapon to prevent ourselves. The only thing which we have is a stethoscope. The real issue is that there is a huge lapse as far as the hospital security is concerned. Be it CCTV cameras, be it screening of visitors, restricting the number of visitors, having digital technology to give preventive access in areas which are vulnerable. And the most flashpoints, so to say, in hospitals are the emergency rooms, casualties, operation theaters, ICUs, and so on. That's where the criticality happens as far as patient care is concerned. But a doctor cannot be a whipping boy for all ills of the society.
So true.
We are here to treat, we are here to stand by the patients. We've given our life, our youth, our entire career to save patients. We can do only as much as every human being with good intention can do. We cannot save every patient. That's law of nature. What we are committed to do is to treat patients to our best medical capability and with proper ethics. That's what we are trained to do. That is what all doctors do in India also. But this kind of crime
so well put.
Is
but Dr.
really
Bagai,
bad.
Inevitably, there's a comparison. Why does this happen in India and not in other countries? Do you think that it also comes down to another issue, which is a lack of deterrent?
Yeah, so we need to put such a deterrent law. We need a central law. We need an act which is cleared by the parliament of both houses that any person who tries to harm any medical professional, not only doctors, but nurses, paramedical staff, healthcare workers, hospitals, nursing homes, or indeed hospital property, the punishment should be punitive. One or two case examples, name and shame these goons. They will think 10 times before trying to do this barbaric act. Imagine the plight of that doctor. He's treating the patient and he's getting stabbed. We don't send our youth into medicine to get assaulted and indeed killed. We've just had a horrific incident in Calcutta. We've had incidents in the past. This is a wake-up call for Indian healthcare. We need proper security in the hospitals, and we need a central law to prevent crime against medical professions.
Why do you think, Dr. Bagai, and this is a conversation that keeps coming up, like you said, just a few months ago also, we've had this conversation about the need for a central law. Why do you think it hasn't happened yet? Do you think that it's not given priority by our lawmakers, or, that there's been some delay or the other that's really dented the progress on this?
I think the delay doesn't have any explanations in my mind. I think the government should act. Yeah. We need to protect the doctors. The youngest are the resident doctors who are in early 20s, mid-20s. They are doing night calls. They are doing 36 to 48-hour shifts because there is such a dearth of medical professionals in India. All we can do is to protect them. We need a good, safe working environment. We need a clean room where they can rest for a while. We need good toilets and resting facilities, good food, clean water. But paramount importance is there can be no physical, psychological, or verbal harm. Forget assault.
And these are basic demands. These are basic demands in anyone's workplace that must be addressed. Dr. Bagai, appreciate you for taking the time out and joining us here, sir, on India Today. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to now bring in on this broadcast Supriya Sahu, who is the Additional Chief Secretary for the Health Department in the government of Tamil Nadu. Ma'am, thank you for your time. In the last 24 hours, since the incident that happened in the Chennai government hospital, we've seen protests also by doctors. Can you tell me, ma'am, what the Tamil Nadu government is doing to address some of the concerns that these doctors have put forth?
Yes, the government, of course, is very, very committed to protect doctors and to ensure the safety of doctors. We actually, about 2 to 3 months back, we have already done a security audit of all our government health facilities. And this security audit was done jointly with the police department, revenue, and the health officials, including the medical superintendents and the deans. Now, this is a very important step which actually has revealed that, there are places where the CCTV cameras are there, but there is a requirement for installation of more CCTV cameras. We have also issued instructions to all the hospitals that wherever there are dark areas, the lighting needs to be improved. And as it was mentioned during the discussion on your channel right now, I was listening to it, that, a room has to be provided for, doctors can take rest, as well as the toilet facilities have to be improved. So these, with the work in progress, we have already provided most of these services in our government hospitals, and we are committed to do more. We definitely are committed to improve the security further. There is no doubt about it.
Ma'am, with regards to the incident that happened yesterday to Dr. Balaji in the hospital, do you believe it was a one-off, or do you think that, yes, there was a need to amp up security? There was some security issues that led to something like this happening?
No, I would be very honest in saying that I don't think we can, any incident, whether it is a one-off incident or it is an organized or something like that, I think we have to take it very seriously. And government has taken this incident very seriously. The person who attacked has already been arrested, and police is he's under police custody. So the case is going on, and it will follow the course of law. We are very serious, and we are in talks with associations also. The doctors' associations came yesterday. They have also made several suggestions. The heads of the institutions have given several suggestions. We definitely are working on all these suggestions. In fact, most of these big hospitals, especially in metro cities like Chennai, you have large number of people accessing the outpatient services. So we are also looking at how do we make sure that the visitor passes can be introduced so that, the access can be regulated. And it is not that everybody kind of, enters where you just do not know what is happening. So in one of our big hospitals, which is the RGGH hospital, one of the largest hospitals, we have already rolled out the visitor pass system, and we'll be doing so in all other facilities.
With the incident that happened yesterday, it's understandable how medical professionals right now across Tamil Nadu, across the country perhaps, are feeling unsafe, are worried about their safety, are worried about what's happening while they're on duty. And that's why we've seen protests taking place across Tamil Nadu. Has the government, ma'am, also made any effort to reach out to these doctors, kind of reassure them that their safety, security is taken care of?
Yes, the Honorable Chief Minister has already made a statement on his Twitter account. The Honorable Minister has been also making several statements in the press. Yesterday, we had a long discussion with the Doctors Association. We have also been talking to the doctors separately also, wherever they have reached out to us. We have told them that in spite of the fact that we have already kind of assessed the security situation in all our hospitals, we are also strengthening the police outposts in larger institutions. For example, the Kalangar Hospital, where the incident happened yesterday, it has a police outpost, but it was located little bit outside. So now we are shifting the police outpost closer to the hospital entrance. And I think this is one thing that we have learned, that in hospitals where large number of people are accessing, the police outposts are important. We have to make sure that the availability of the police personnel should be in the vicinity. So I think it is very important that we discuss with the doctors and find out what their suggestions are. We are working together as a team to kind of rectify wherever the...
Okay. And finally, my question to you, ma'am, is considering that this incident happened and the accused was the relative of a patient, was clearly frustrated with the treatment and the course it was taking, do you also think that there needs to be a certain amount of awareness among patients, among their families, that needs to be spread so doctors aren't targeted in this manner? Because 24 hours on, there was another incident also reported of a doctor being assaulted.
No, I think one thing which is very clear is that we need to definitely bring systems which will kind of, reduce the stress on the system. So it's very important that we have a kind of a mechanism where patients can also call up and clarify their doubts. Government of Tamil Nadu has been running a call center, which is a toll-free number 104, where patients can call up. We have 40 people who are working. We have an exclusive counseling number also, which can be accessed by people. I think it is important. We have also realized that more awareness needs to be generated about these call centers, and perhaps in larger institutions, we are also looking to see whether we can provide more volunteers and kind of counselors who can also take care of the stress in case of a terminally ill patients, so that there is some kind of a stress management and as well as counseling is going on. There is no doubt that these facilities, they play a very important role. Yes.
We will do our bit also to ensure that there's more awareness on those call centers, on those helplines. Supriya Sahu, thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us here on India Today and taking all of our questions. Incident, yes, is worrying, but she's promised us that the government is taking this very, very seriously and ensuring that doctors who are right now worried for their safety, their issues are also immediately addressed. I want to bring in Milind Sharma, who tracks the health sector for us very closely. Milind, at this point, while, yes, there's a lot of focus on what happened in Chennai, I think this has opened up a debate and a discourse across the country, something we've spoken about before as well. The need to ensure and safeguard our doctors, our medical professionals. And every time that conversation comes up, the question is asked, where is the central law? Has anything moved on that front?
Well, Akshita, there is nothing that has moved on the front of the Central Protection Act, because remember, in 2019 itself, the draft was made. But after the RG Kar Medical College episode in Kolkata, there were larger, calls for the Central Protection Act to be brought into force. But remember that the central government says, in consultation with the Home Ministry, that there are 26 states and union territories that already have enacted their own laws in case a doctor is attacked in their state. So Tamil Nadu happens to be one of them. And as you heard in the conversation with the health secretary, that they have arrested this particular person. So there are penal codes and laws that are in place already within the Criminal Act. And therefore, a lot of stakeholder consultations have happened that have said that a Central Protection Act will not do as much justice as much as the state protection laws can do, because health is also a state subject, which is why the onus is on the states to protect the doctors. And that's why the Central Protection Act has not moved even a step further, even after heinous crimes like rape and brutal murder of the doctor happened in RG Kar, and the stabbing and brutal stabbing of the doctor has happened in Chennai, and especially in states where medical and healthcare facilities are top-notch, whether we talk about Tamil Nadu or we talk about Kerala. There are a lot of doctors as well as nurses that are well-trained to take care of patients in these states, and yet they are facing this kind of attacks and discrimination. It clearly points out to a larger mindset of the people, which has not been brought into a particular way of behavior with the doctors when the patient actually dies or there's another risk to their life. So the states have the onus to protect these doctors, which is why the central law has not moved forward, whether it comes to consultations with the Home Ministry as well. Akshita?
But you're right to point out that, at least in the case of Tamil Nadu, since we're talking about the incident in Chennai, there's a law in place. There are many others where there's no law whatsoever, which means essentially no deterrent. Thanks very much, Milind, for getting us those details. No movement on a central law. And that's because the centre is very clear that this is something that states must do. Like we've been highlighting, this isn't the first time that doctors have been at risk within the walls of their workplace, within the walls of a hospital. A few months ago, we witnessed the horrifying, brutal rape and murder of Abhaya at a Kolkata hospital. It triggered nationwide outrage, a demand, a conversation about an act that will protect our doctors. But nothing really happened on that front. What are the laws currently? Sneha Murdani explains.
The need for a central law then. Now, a study conducted by the Indian Medical Association has shed light on some shocking facts and statistics. Consider this: 75% doctors in India face violence at some point in time in their career. 62.8% of doctors fear violence. 46.3% doctors say violence is the main cause of their stress. In addition to this, there were 22 cases of grievous assault on doctors during 2016 and 2018, and 14 hospital strikes a year against violence on healthcare workers during 2014 and 2019. It was in 2019 that the Healthcare Service Personnel and Clinical Establishments Bill was drafted. According to the draft bill, Whoever commits violence against any healthcare professional shall be punished with imprisonment for a term of 6 months to 5 years and a fine of 50,000 rupees to 5 lakh rupees. In cases of causing grievous hurt, the imprisonment would be from 3 years to 10 years with a fine of 2 lakh rupees to 10 lakh rupees. So why was this bill never taken up? The 5-year-old draft legislation was framed but never introduced in Parliament. When the pandemic hit in 2020, the Epidemic Diseases Act was amended to give protection to doctors. Now that the pandemic is over, the Epidemic Diseases Act is not in force. Moreover, recently the Supreme Court said laws under the IPC, the Indian Penal Code, already exist. The implementation is the big question here.
Now, there's a big political showdown playing out in Jharkhand after Congress Neta had said LPG cylinders will be given for a lesser cost for infiltrators too. Prime Minister Modi is now lashed out over this comment, saying that this is proof that the Congress is backing infiltrators and therefore putting India's security at risk. Listen in to what Prime Minister Modi said.
कांग्रेस के एक नेता ने झारखंड में घोषणा की है, आप सुनकर के चौंक जाएंगे। उसने झारखंड में घोषणा की है कि वे सस्ते गैस सिलेंडर हिंदुओं को देंगे, मुसलमानों को देंगे और आगे क्या कहते हैं, जो घुसपैठिए हैं उनको भी देंगे। आप मुझे बताइए भाई, ये जो घुसपैठियों की आरती उतारते हैं, क्या ऐसे लोगों को देश में कहीं पर भी अवसर मिलना चाहिए क्या? जरा दोनों हाथ ऊपर करके पूरी ताकत से बताइए, ऐसे लोगों को कहीं पर भी अवसर मिलना चाहिए क्या? खुलेआम उनका एक नेता घोषणा कर रहा है कि जो घुसपैठिए हैं, रोहिंग्या है, बांग्लादेशी है, उनको हम सस्ते में गैस सिलेंडर देंगे। ये वोट पाने के लिए देश के साथ आपके बच्चों के उज्जवल भविष्य के साथ कैसा खेल खेल रहे हैं, इसका ये उदाहरण है।
So you heard there the Prime Minister's attack, but let's tell you exactly what the Congress Neta said here. While speaking about the big promises and guarantees that the Congress will give out in Jharkhand, he went ahead and said that they will ensure that gas cylinders, LPG cylinders, are given for cheaper prices for infiltrators too.
और हमने वादा दिया जनता को कि जैसे सरकार बनेगी 1 दिसंबर से गैस सिलेंडर का कीमत सिर्फ 450 रुपए। ये आम जनता, ना उसमें हिंदू देखा जाएगा, ना मुसलमान देखा जाएगा, ना घुसपैठिए देखा जाएगा, तो ना कोई और चीज देखा जाएगा। जो भी झारखंड वासी है, वो किसी भी सोच से हो, किसी भी तबके से हो, उसको 450 रुपए में गैस सिलेंडर दिया जाएगा। ये हमारा प्रोग्राम।
Let's get you news now from Telangana, where a few days ago there was a shocking incident of a collector being attacked by an angry mob. Now there is a political twist to that particular incident, and it's triggered an all-out BRS versus Congress showdown. KT Ramarao is in the eye of a storm, KTR, after being named as a mastermind of that assault on a district collector. A former BRS MLA who was arrested for orchestrating this attack allegedly named KTR. And now he's reacted, saying that he will go to jail with his head held high if he's arrested.
A shocking assault of a government officer while on duty. This is the collector of Telangana's Vikarabad district being beaten up. His car being stoned by an angry mob a few days ago during a land acquisition meet. The video sent shockwaves across Telangana, and now a political twist has emerged. The Telangana police has claimed a BRS link after an ex-BRS MLA was arrested for the attack. According to the cops, the Neta has now named none other than K.T. Rama Rao as the mastermind of the violence.
BRS, a former MLA, Patnam Narendra Reddy, who was initially arrested, and during investigation, the police had revealed that Patnam Narendra Reddy had orchestrated this attack, and this was all done on the direction of party high command, including KTR himself. And this confession was mentioned in the remand report by the police. Now here the police is investigating all the angles pertaining to this particular incident and had said that anybody who was directly or indirectly involved in this attack that took place on November 11th will not be spared.
KTR has hit back over the charge and dared agencies to arrest him.
आज कॉन्स्पिरेसी अगर कोई कर रहा है तो रेवंत रेड्डी खुद के कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में अपने सन इन लॉ की एक फैक्ट्री के लिए, फार्मा फैक्ट्री के लिए गरीब किसानों की जमीन हड़पने की कोशिश कर रहा है। अपने आप को बचाने के लिए और उसकी फेल्ड गवर्नेंस को छुपाने के लिए अगर कोई केस हम पे लगाना चाहे तो उसकी अपनी पर्सनल इच्छा है, मुझे उससे कोई तकलीफ नहीं।
The Telangana government has accused BRS of instigating the attack on the collector and has vowed action will be taken.
विकास की मतलब इंडस्ट्री भी आना है। अगर इंडस्ट्री वहाँ खोलने के लिए किसी का इतराज है तो वहाँ आप प्रोटेस्ट कर सकते हैं। हम जैसा टीआरएस के जमाना में जैसा प्रोटेस्ट भी हम नहीं दबाते। प्रोटेस्ट लीगल राइट है, प्रोटेस्ट करो, मगर लाठी लेके अगर अधिकारी को मारे हम खामोशी नहीं बढ़ते, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर इंप्लीमेंट होता। इन्वेस्टिगेशन में जिसका नाम आता है वो रहता है। हमने कहा हम केटीआर को लगाओ, ये ऐसा हमको कोई जरूरत नहीं है।
With KTR now being named in this assault case, trouble is mounting for the BRS working president as he's alleged that the Revant government is piling cases against him.
Do you think that you will be arrested soon? Because you're saying that, there's no corruption here. You're suggesting it's political.
We live in a very funny country, Kasab, who, was openly, he's a terrorist who openly killed people, could be only hung 4 years later. Revanth Reddy, who was caught with a bag of 50 lakh rupees, is still outside and he's the chief minister. So we do live in a funny country and funny things happen. So my point is, they want to arrest me, welcome, arrest karo, probe karo, prove karo, convict करने की कोशिश करो। मैंने कोई गलती किया ही नहीं तो किस बात का डर?
With the political back and forth peaking over the attack, it remains to be seen if KTR now will be booked as an accused. With Abdul Bashir in Hyderabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
That time of the year, once again in the National Capital Region, where pollution levels are going up, and as a result of that, strict pollution norms are being imposed. From tomorrow, several new steps and measures being brought into effect. For example, schools will be suggested to shut down till classes 5 in the NCR state. So that's in Delhi, in the Gurugram and Noida areas. Ban on construction activities has been confirmed in the National Capital Region. Besides that, exemptions only to constructions of national importance. As of now, there's no restrictions on the movement of vehicles. So all of the discussion on odd even, right now, that's not been imposed. Milind Sharma is getting us more details on this. Milind, GRAP 3 guidelines essentially being put into effect from tomorrow. Just explain to us what really that means. What are the restrictions?
Well, Akshita, what we are hearing from our sources after the CAQM meeting, one of the primary things that will be suggested to the NCR states is that schools will be suggested to shut till classes 5, and these will be in the NCR states of Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, of course, as well as Rajasthan. And along with this, there could be some restrictions on vehicular movement. For example, commercial vehicles could be restricted from entering into the Delhi NCR region. We'll have more clarity on that in some more time. But certainly construction activities have been, proposed to be banned from tomorrow. Starting 8 a.m. in the morning is when the implementation will take place. So only exemptions are the constructions of national
national importance, say for example if a metro pillar is being constructed or something that's related to civil works that are related to construction of public property, only those will be allowed under certain circumstances. But certainly it's a problem once again. Students will not be able to go to school. The classes will perhaps be shifted online for classes till classes 5th, of course. These are kids who go to school in the morning, and there could be vehicular restrictions, as I repeat again, but not a full-fledged odd even. That is something, the call on which the Delhi government will have to take to implement.
So nothing on odd even just yet. Schools and education could be impacted, and just imagine that little children paying the price for the failure of our political class. Thanks very much, Milind, for joining us with all of those details. All right, let's move on to some other stories. We've been seeing massive protests by students in Uttar Pradesh and particularly public service aspirants. Now, today there's been some relief that's come in for them. They've been protesting for 3 days now, and the Yogi government has bowed down to students' demands to conduct the UPPSC exams on a single day. The protesting students celebrated the decision to roll back the 2-date exam slot, and the new dates will be announced by a committee soon. But why exactly were these students protesting? To break it down simply for you, the review officer exam and the assistant review officer exam was scheduled to happen in 3 shifts, while the PSC prelims were slotted for 2 days. The aspirants have been protesting, demanding that the exams be held on 1 day.
आरओ की परीक्षा भी हमारी मांग है, वो 1 शिफ्ट में हो। उन्होंने कहा इसे गोल गोल घुमा दिया कि कमेटी बनाएंगे, विचार करेंगे। इतने दिन से है तो कमेटी क्यों नहीं बनाए? एक परीक्षा में कह दिया हाँ लागू, कि दूसरे में कह दिया और नोटिस कोई नहीं जारी किया, तो कैसे हम लोग माने कि आरोप फिर आएगा ही, हमको फिर लौट कर नहीं आना पड़ेगा यहाँ।
सरकार के फैसले पर विपक्ष के आरोप है, लेकिन सरकार का दावा है कि छात्रों के हित में फैसला हुआ। हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए उत्तर प्रदेश के उप मुख्यमंत्री केशव प्रसाद मौर्य जी हैं। सर, इस फैसले को किस तरीके से देखा जाए? विपक्ष के भी सवाल है, लेकिन इस फैसले को लेने के पीछे सरकार की क्या सोच थी?
देखिए, सरकार संवेदनशील है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी छात्रों की समर्थक है, युवाओं की समर्थक है, उनकी भावनाओं से हम अवगत हैं। हम जब सरकार में नहीं थे तब भी प्रतियोगी छात्रों के साथ मिल करके जो श्री अखिलेश यादव जी के शासनकाल में भर्तियों में भ्रष्टाचार हो रहा था, भर्ती माफिया सक्रिय थे, नक्कल माफिया सक्रिय थे और पूरे आयोग की व्यवस्था को तहस नहस करने का पाप किया था, काम किया था, हम उनसे अवगत हैं। प्रतियोगी छात्रों की कोई ऐसी मांग नहीं थी। उनका मांग था कि जो नॉर्मलाइजेशन का फार्मूला लागू किया गया है उसे समाप्त करके 1 दिन और 1 शिफ्ट में परीक्षा कराई जाए। आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के नेतृत्व में यह फैसला लिया गया है कि हमारी सरकार 1 दिन में और 1 शिफ्ट में जो परीक्षाएं हैं उनको संपन्न कराने का काम करेगी। और जिस प्रकार से समाजवादी पार्टी ने इस आंदोलन की आड़ लेकर के राजनीतिक फायदे के लिए छात्रों के भविष्य के साथ खिलवाड़ करने के उद्देश्य से अपने कुछ गुंडों को, सपा के समर्थकों को आंदोलन के बीच में भेज करके माहौल खराब करने का काम किया है, पाप किया है, उसकी भारी कीमत श्री अखिलेश यादव जी की जो परिवार डेवलपमेंट एजेंसी है समाजवादी पार्टी को उठाना पड़ेगा। हम सदैव अपने प्रतियोगी छात्रों के साथ थे, हैं और आगे भी रहेंगे।
So the UP government saying we stand with the students and will ensure that any issue they have is immediately addressed. All right, let's take you through what really happened today in Rajasthan's Tonk, where there were protests. Why exactly? Here are the highlights. Independent candidate Naresh Meena was arrested following high drama and violence a day after he slapped the SDM Amit Chaudhary during polling in Rajasthan's Tonk and set in motion differing protests from both his protesters and the Rajasthan Administrative Service officials. 62-wheelers and 18 four-wheelers, including police vehicles, were torched in the violence that erupted outside the polling booth in Samravta village in the Dioli Uniara Assembly constituency when police tried to prevent Meena and his supporters from sitting on a dharna. Police fired tear gas shells to disperse the agitated mob after Meena's arrest. Some were seen pelting stones at the police. These alleged supporters of Meena also burnt tyres, blocked off roads, all of which was later removed. Naresh Meena, the man who slaps their SDM, faces a total of 23 pending criminal cases and actually defended his action by accusing the SDM of misconduct. He claimed that the SDM had assaulted local villagers, including a woman and her family, forcing them to vote under threats of job loss, and that's why he resorted to what he did. And with that roundup, I'm wrapping up this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks very much for tuning in.